The human brain cannot comprehend the negative. It is incapable. Yes, it's true. I'll give you an example, okay? I'll give you an example. You don't have to believe me. I'll prove it. I'll prove it, okay? The human brain cannot comprehend the negative. You ready? Don't think of an elephant. You can't tell the human brain not to do something, right? And so what happens is we very often reinforce things when we put things in the negative, right? I can't get apart. I can't get apart. Can't get apart, right? Or I can't do this. Versus I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this, right? And it's such a huge thing to convert things into the affirmative. You're supposed to do it with children as well. We're supposed to say, instead of saying to children, don't eat on the couch, we're supposed to say, eat at the table. Right? We tell people what we want them to do, not what we don't want to do. Pilots know this, right? It is well known in the pilot community that when you tell a pilot, don't hit the obstacle, they'll hit the obstacle. Because what they're doing is focusing on the obstacle. Skiers know this. If you ever seen skiers go through trees, do you know how they do that? It's very easy. It's actually surprisingly easy. If you go through trees on skis and you go, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, guess what you're watching? You're only looking at trees. All you're doing is seeing trees. You don't understand how anyone can ski with all these trees, right? As opposed to follow the snow, follow the path, follow the path. The only thing you see is the path. Skiers know this. If you say don't hit a tree, you'll hit a tree. You won't be able to find a path because all you see is millions of trees. If you say only follow the path, you actually don't see any trees. There's actually very sparse trees. There's plenty of paths. There's plenty of trees. It's the same thing for you. If you focus on the obstacles, all you will see is obstacles. If you focus on the path through the trees, all you will see is path through the trees. It's your choice how you choose to perceive your own career. It's literally perspective. There are many people in your industry who talk a good game, they talk about relationships, but let's be honest, it's bullshit. They just want to make the transaction and move on, and they pretend that they care, and they pretend it's, you know, that they care about the relationship, when the reality is it's one and done and on to the next. And that's what happened to me. I had a mortgage broker. He sold me a mortgage. He was recommended to me. It's how most of us meet somebody, you know. And he was very nice and charming and was there with me. And then my sale went through, and he called me up to congratulate me, and I was feeling all warm and fuzzy towards him. And then as soon as he congratulated me, he said, and if you could recommend me to anybody else, I'd be really grateful. Like, and he wasn't calling to congratulate me. He was calling to remind me to put in a good word for him somewhere else. Like, if he actually cared about me and my house, then he would have just called me really excited that I got my house. And if he wanted something from me, he would have waited a week or two to ask the favor. But it became abundantly clear to me, I'm in the human behavior business.
Yes.
He never called me because he cared about me. And by the way, I will never, ever recommend it. Because it was never, I realized that I was just a number on a spreadsheet. And so if you actually care about building relationships, then actually build relationships, you know? I remember when I was starting out in my career, I had a young, a little marketing consultancy. And I came from an industry that pretended that they were good at everything in the marketing world. Like literally, they pretended they were good at everything, whether they were or weren't. And when I went off by myself, it was important to me to be honest. And clients would come and talk to me and say, we want to hire you to do all these things. And I'd say, I'll do that one, I'm really good at that, pretty good at that. I like doing that. That I'm mediocre on, that I suck at. I highly recommend you hire another company to do that, and I'm happy to partner with them. And it made them want to do business with me more.
Because you said no.
Because I told them what I was good at and what I was bad at, where I was super honest.
Yeah.
And we've all had that experience where you want to hire somebody and they go, let me introduce you to somebody. It happened to me recently. I wanted it was like something silly, you know, needed wallpaper. He highly recommended. I called him up, he came, he gave me a quote. He's like, you know what, I'm not the best at this thing, and he gave me the number of somebody else.
Yeah.
Now all I want to do is work with him again, and I keep giving out his phone number to other people, even though I actually never did work with him. Because what builds a relationship is an honest broker. Honesty is such a hard thing to get, especially in a transaction business, especially in commodity business, because it is just volume and numbers. Yeah. And then when you actually find an honest one, all you want to do is help them build their book of business, even though you may never do business with them. And that's what a lot of finite-minded folks in your business don't get, which is, you may never sell me a mortgage, but I'll become your biggest champion. You'll never find the balance the same way that no young person will ever find the perfect job, because there's no perfect company and there's no perfect job. And no one will ever feel like they're making an impact every day. And no one will ever have happiness every day. It's just, you're not, everybody's looking for something that you literally cannot find. I'm trying to find, a place where I can be passionate every day. Doesn't exist. I'm trying to find the perfect partner for me. Doesn't exist. It's it's not about finding something. It's about looking for it. It's about, it's when you say find the balance, it's not actually this, it's this. You don't want this.
Yeah.
But it's this. It's always teetering. It's always this. It's always a slight backwards forwards. You're always blocking and tackling. And that's the fun. Because if it was stable, you'd have no fun. Because again, it's about being alert and aware the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that it makes me really sad that people set out on a journey to find a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow where there are no pots of gold at the end. And they read books that tell them that there is.
Mm-hmm.
And they listen to speakers who tell them that there is. And they go because somebody told them there is, but there isn't. And for me, what I've learned is what makes it joyful and exciting and stable and fun is who we take with us on the journey. That is the best. That you don't go looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow by yourself, for yourself. How can I make an impact? How can I find the job that I love? How can I find the perfect mate? Me, right? But it's rather, hey, you guys want to go for an adventure? I've heard there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I don't know if we're going to find it, but let's go. And that, it doesn't matter if you find the pot or not. The relationships that you build and the journeys that you'll go on and the storms that you'll endure together and the hardships and the funny things and the falling on the floor laughing, that's life. And I think people forget to take someone on the journey with them or volunteer to go on someone else's journey.